Second final part to this is to add some materials to this. And this material, the default material, I'm going to make this white and a darker color there. And then for the tracks, I'll edit that track, hit full stop to view it so I can see that track there. And there's going to be two materials for this one. So first of all, I'm going to apply that material to everything and then add a new material. I'm going to select all these faces here. And these, doesn't really matter if I get the bottom ones or not, since I won't see them. Okay, I'll grab them anyway. And this new material, it's going to be brown. And I'll assign that to that. Okay, so there's my tracks there. I might also just make these a bit more would like move those vertices around. It's not going to be a big deal. Okay, so there's that track there. These things here, I'm just going to apply that brown material to them. Actually, I might make a new material for them. So I'll hit X on that, new, and it'll be a different color brown. Okay, and then this one here, don't worry that it goes off center when we do that. What we can do is create a new material, and this is also going to be brown. Maybe a different shade of brown. Okay, so we've got something that looks like that at the moment. And if I go into 0 and hit play, that's pretty good. I do want to turn the specularity on all these things down. Okay, every single material I'm going to turn the specularity down on. Not change the color, I'm going to turn it down. So I'm just going to select all these materials, turn the specularity down, the gray, turn the specularity down, and the brown in here, turn the specularity down, and that material as well, turn the specularity down. Okay, that way it won't get all shiny, because what we're going to do is put a light on the front of our minecart. Now I could actually model that, but I'm not going to for now. So what I'm going to do is edit that, go down here, and I don't need to edit it, sorry. I'm going to grab the light that's here and delete that. It's on frame 1, so I'll just delete that and go back to this frame here and add lamp, a spotlight. Okay, now I've got that spotlight here. I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to bring it back. I don't think I can go into edit mode for the spotlight. No, I can't. I'm going to use this to rotate it, because I want to rotate it kind of forward like that. And I will grab the handles and bring them back. I don't want it to be that massive of a spotlight. If I go into material mode, I should be able to see what it's going to shine on. So I'll go to the camera. I can see it's casting some shadows there. I probably don't want it to be that distant, so I'm going to bring the distance of this spotlight in. Okay, so it's just ahead of us. And I can turn the intensity up a little bit. So it's bright, but it doesn't, it's not going to go too far. Okay, we'll turn the energy up. We don't want it to be a sphere. We want to have ray shadows on it. I can turn the sample size of the shadow up. I want them to be pretty soft, so I'll turn that up to 2. And just so I can see what it's going to look like, I might hit render here. That's really horrible. So let's go back to my light and turn the soft size down to 1 and try rendering that again. Yeah, I might go back to the lamp. Turn the soft size down to really low, which is what it was. Last time I did that, I must have had it out of scale. Okay, that's better there. Every now and then, though, I'm going to create another model that has a lamp in it here. Even then, that's still too much, I think. So I'll turn that soft size down quite a bit. The more of this as well, the longer it'll take to render, it'll look a lot better. Don't know what that is down there. It could be ambient occlusion, which I do want to set to multiply. I don't want to have, when I turn that on, that gets real dark. Okay, so I might need to turn the distance of that up. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why it's giving that real dotty look in there, but that's alright because we've got a bit of time to set this up. Environmental lighting, what happens? Nothing. What happens if I add? I'm not sure what this is here. This is kind of weird down there. The environmental lighting I'll turn off. If I make this a point light, what happens? Still get that down there. If I make it a sun, I still get it. I do want it to be a spotlight though. And I'm not sure what that is. So I'll go back into 3D view. Oh, it's the shadow from my this thing here. Okay, so I've got to get it in the right location first and bring that forward. Not sure why that won't go forward. G, X. Okay, and I'll bring that up a little bit. So it's just there, hit 0. That's pretty much what I want. The distance, it does seem to go on for a bit. I'll turn that energy down. And we can play around with these to have the amount of fall off, which is this part here. So how far away it goes dark. And I'll just hit F12 to render that. And that doesn't look too bad. Okay, so it's just a matter of playing around with these settings here. So I want maybe multiply. And I might need to have the sun, not the sun. Make that distance a bit further away. If I turn off ambient occlusion altogether, what happens? Oh, too bright. So all you need to do is find a setting that works. Having ambient occlusion on, in this case, set it to add and turn it down quite a bit. Doesn't seem to do a whole lot. That spotlight energy is really bright there. I'll turn that down. And the distance I'll bring back to 1. And back to here. Okay, so the more of this I add. Alright, what the ambient occlusion does is wherever there's a crease or it just kind of shades it a little bit more. So that's pretty good there, I think, those settings. I will need the sky. I'll need that later, so I'm going to pop that up there. And it's going to be a bit brighter like that. I will need the sky. I'll just make sure that that didn't change anything. Good. I will need environmental lighting, sky color. But because I'm inside, that sky color shouldn't be able to reach me. So that shouldn't be a problem. Now if I just scan forward in some of these and hit F12, I should be able to render it. Now that's gone black, and that's because what I need to do here is parent that light source to the either the camera or the truck. So let's go back and do that. 3D view. I've got my sun selected, and I'll select that as well. Control P and vertex triangle. So now when I hit play, you see that the goes through there with it. Okay. Final few things I want to do is to this here. Oh, sorry, I said I was going to model a lantern and put that throughout with a light source on it. So I'm going to do that now. And I'll just put it back to solid view. Actually, I think I won't, but I would like you to. And when you add a lantern to it, so add lamp, it should just be a point lamp, or it can be a spot lamp that's looking downwards. Just have to make sure that it's not too bright. Like, that's pretty big. Okay, that's because I've scaled all this down quite small, which is probably affecting the shadows as well. But now I'm going to render it, and I'm going to show you how to set up the render for animation. So this is the button that we click, but we don't click it just yet because we're not ready for animation. What we need to do is make sure it's set to 100% if you want 1080p. If you want 720, set it to 50. It's probably a good idea to do like a small render, which I'll just do here, just to see that it looks right. So that's at 10%. That's going to be really low, like 108p. Frame rate's fine at 24 frames per second. So scroll down here and change this from PNG to H.264 or MPEG. H.264 is a good encoding. And change this here to the location. I'm just going to leave it as TMP, which will put it in C drive /TMP. Click animation, and it will render the animation. Now, it might not look like anything's actually happening in here. That's actually the size of the animation, by the way. So as you can see, it's really tiny. If I zoom in, it's pretty low res. But it does it pretty quick. So you can see it's kind of flying through the frames here. It's doing about 10 frames or so every few seconds. It means it's not going to take forever to animate. And then when I get it done, TMP, these are older renders of Minecraft thing. So in here, this one is the one that it's working on now. So we'll just wait for that to go. The 100% render would take a lot longer. Okay, this is why I just did it at this here, so you can see the settings. Then we get to the end, and there's our sky. And it stops. Okay, so I should be able to open this now, and we can see the animation playing. It's pretty fast, probably too fast for me, but that's it. Okay, so next video we're going to look at the final bit, which is video compositing, and you're going to do a small task in that.